Welcome back to Dealing Together. First caller?
I bought 3 sweaters to get the 4th free.
Oh, you got fleeced. Next caller?
I traded my old Samsung at AT&T for a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus and chose my plan.
That's not a bad deal.
It is not.
Our best smartphone deals. Your choice of plan. Learn how to get the new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus with Galaxy AI on us with eligible trade-in. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Offers vary by device. Subject to change. S24 plus 256 gigabyte offer available for a limited time. Terms and restrictions apply. See att.com/Samsung for details.
In a small community, a horrifying murder is discovered. 26-year-old mother Keneata Nicholas, who brought joy to the lives of everyone she ever met, is found murdered. It was an unforeseen and tragic betrayal. What happens when love turns fatal? This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast with Senseless Slaying, Keneata Nicholas.
From the moment they met, they were head over heels.
She was like, "Ma, he look good." He was really in love with her.
They were talking about getting married.
But before wedding bells can ring, tragedy strikes.
She was viciously murdered. It was extremely violent.
You just can't believe it.
I just screamed, I cried. I will never forget that day.
Those images never really leave you.
When the motive is finally revealed, the list of suspects grows.
This was shocking.
No one saw it coming.
If I knew, I would have went to the police.
I just didn't imagine that this was going to happen to my child, my daughter, my baby.
February 20th, 2016. It's a chilly Saturday morning in the quiet community of West Haven, Connecticut.
West Haven, just outside of New Haven. It's more of the suburban area in New Haven.
Typically, it's a very friendly and pretty safe community.
But this isn't a typical Saturday morning. It's a little before 7:30 when Patricia Folsom arrives outside the apartment complex where her adopted daughter, 26-year-old Keneata Nicholas, lives.
She used to babysit for her, so that morning she was going there to get the baby from her so she could go to work.
The normal routine would be that she would pull up into the apartment complex, beat the horn, and Keneata would bring the baby out to her.
And I was just outside, just beeping, 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 and then, calling her.
But Keneata doesn't answer.
Hey, it's Keneata. Leave a message.
Keneata, where are you? I'm outside.
Several minutes pass with no sign of Keneata and the baby. Concerned, Patricia gets out of her car and goes to the door.
Keneata, are you in there?
Once again, there's no answer. But what Patricia does hear sends her into a panic.
I'm banging on the door, trying to get in, and I just hear the baby screaming, crying.
Keneata, are you okay?
The mother was rightly concerned. Her daughter was supposed to be there to let her in.
My heart, honestly, I thought maybe she slipped in the tub and got hurt.
With no key to open the door and fearing that something has happened to her daughter, Patricia calls 911.
West Haven Fire was the first to get there.
Please get my baby.
Fearing that the baby was in danger, they decided that they would breach the door.
As firemen enter the apartment, Patricia follows close behind, and what she sees is far worse than anything she could have imagined.
I kind of pushed up in there, and I kind of seen the scene.
No, not my baby, Keneata, no.
26-year-old Keneata Nicholas had a vibrant energy that brought joy to everyone she met.
She's very silly and just spontaneous and spunky. She's been the same way her whole life.
She was goofy. She always jump around, joke around.
She would give off this aura about her, like she had no worries in the world.
However, Keneata's loving nature stemmed from a troubled childhood.
She had suffered quite a bit of abuse and neglect as a child. She'd been shuffled from home to home, living with various relatives.
At one point in time, Keneata lived with me and my grandmother for a while.
It was only when she was in high school that Keneata had found a permanent home with Patricia Folson.
I knew that she needed somebody to love her. And so I went and got custody of her. And she became my daughter. She was very close and trusted her. She looked at her as a mom. We just got closer and closer. And she was my heart. I loved her. She's the daughter I never had.
Patricia and Keneata remained close, even after Keneata moved to the Hartford area for college.
She went to Central State University, wanted to be a social worker.
During her freshman year at Central State, Keneata met an aspiring musician named Antonio Chambly.
He was working at the campus radio station at the time, doing a promotion. She walked by, and he struck up a conversation with her.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, we're doing a show this weekend. You should come.
Cool.
The chance encounter soon turned into a relationship.
I think they just clicked and connected.
Things seemed really great between them. They had a lot of fun together.
However, a year into the relationship, their lives suddenly changed.
I remember her telling me that she was pregnant with her daughter.
They loved each other, and now they were expecting a child. So they decided to get a place together so they could raise the baby.
Keneata dropped out of school and in 2011 gave birth to a baby girl.
She was a great mom. That was one of the things that made her happy, just being able to be responsible for her life.
She did everything she was supposed to as a mom and really embraced the role of motherhood.
But before their daughter's second birthday, Keneata and Antonio called it quits.
She left him, but she never really stated why. She wasn't one to tell all her personal business.
She wanted to move back to New Haven where her family was, so that's what she did.
At the time in her life, I don't guess it just wasn't meant to be.
Needing the support of her family, Keneata and her daughter moved back in with Patricia.
They lived with her mother temporarily. Then Keneata took a housekeeping job at a local hotel.
She was like, I'm working my butt off, but at least it's gonna pay some money enough for me to get my own place.
She found an apartment. She was so happy. It was like a exciting thrill for her.
That was her first apartment that she ever had on her own. And she was very proud of it. She was like, whew, my daughter got her own room.
She wanted to give her child a better life than she had.
And that's what she was doing, and fixing up her little apartment for her and her daughter.
Between the new apartment, work, and her daughter, Keneata stayed busy, but still found time to hang out with her friends, too.
She worked her job and did what she had to do so she could have fun, too. But she wasn't looking for a relationship. It didn't seem like she was interested in anybody.
Then, in June of 2014, Keneata met 35-year-old Gerard Crosley, and that all changed.
Her best friend was Gerard's cousin, and she introduced her to him.
I can't believe we've never met before.
I know, right?
He was kind of quiet and a sweet guy.
Gerard wasted no time asking Keneata out, and their relationship quickly blossomed.
Oh, hey, baby.
He was really in love with her and used to get her roses and flowers and things like that.
Oh, they're beautiful.
You like them?
Thank you. Yes.
She was really digging him. She just felt loved and appreciated.
The couple continued to grow closer and took steps to be together as often as they could.
He eventually moved in with her. She got him a job where she works.
In the fall of 2014, the couple took the next step when Keneata became pregnant.
She was like, I'm having a boy. She always wanted a boy.
With the birth of their son in June of 2015, it looked as if Gerard and Keneata were ready to solidify their family.
She said, we are going to get married. She was thinking long-term with them. She was really in love.
But soon a tragedy would darken the bright future the couple envisioned. On February 20th, 2016, West Haven first responders have just found Keneata bloody and unresponsive on her apartment floor.
Not my baby, Keneata,
All right, we gotta get you out of here.
They started pushing me out so that I wouldn't see no more. And I'm like, well, give me the baby. Give me the baby.
Give me my baby. Give me my baby.
The 7-month-old child was present in that room.
I just left with the baby, trying not to think about what was going on.
Outside, paramedics work to determine if there are any injuries to the infant.
His clothes was all bloody, but he was fine. There was nothing wrong with him.
Sadly, the same cannot be said for Keneata.
I said, how is she? And the guy just like shook his head. No.
Is she okay?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
The news of Keneata's death leaves her family grasping for answers.
Who would kill Keneata?
It's completely senseless.
More secrets are revealed once we return with more Fatal Attraction.
For Keneata Nicholas and Gerard Crosley, there appear to be no limits to their love.
She was in love with him, and she just wanted to be a family with her 2 kids and him and her, and just be happy.
But on the morning of February 20th, 2016, West Haven, Connecticut firefighters have just found Keneata dead inside the couple's apartment.
That was an absolutely brutal scene. There was blood everywhere.
Even at first glance, it was obvious she had been murdered.
Her throat had been cut, and she also had wounds to her upper torso area and to her arms, indicating some sort of a fight.
When detectives arrive on the scene, they immediately treat it as a homicide.
It was a pretty violent struggle that moved throughout that apartment, throughout that immediate living room where the deceased was located.
While they are able to piece together how the crime may have unfolded, the motive is not clear.
It did not appear that this was a robbery.
There was no signs of forced entry. There was nothing stolen.
In fact, the only thing missing appears to be the murder weapon.
In the kitchen, the police found that the drawer had been opened where knives were kept, so that led them to conclude that it was possible that the knife that had been used to murder her had been taken from that drawer.
Who had wielded that knife? The blood on the walls may contain a clue.
It's common that in stabbings of this type, the suspect could become injured.
There could very well be a mix of the assailant's blood with Keneata's. This would definitively link the person to the crime.
Thank you.
While crime scene technicians collect blood samples, detectives start speaking to neighbors who have gathered outside.
We spoke to the neighbors, and all of them said that they heard some type of arguing and what they described as loud bangs coming from the apartment sometime between 7 o'clock and 7:20 in the morning.
Then there was no more arguing and only a baby crying.
One neighbor also reports seeing a possible suspect fleeing the area.
Yeah, I do.
She saw someone dressed in a dark-colored gray and black hoodie sweatshirt, like a fleece-style sweatshirt, walking through the back of the apartment complex.
The witness didn't know the person, but told police they were walking away from the scene at around 7:30, just moments after Keneata's mom arrived.
Police started to canvass that particular neighborhood in order to see if they could find any surveillance footage, which would help them identify who this individual was.
While patrol officers search for cameras, detectives turn to Keneata's adoptive mother, Patricia Folson.
Excuse me, ma'am. Do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
Patricia had been waiting in the ambulance with her daughter's 7-month-old.
The fact that the baby was there when she was killed horrified me. That absolutely stood out to me.
You can have your grandson back in a moment. Ma'am, we just need you to answer a few questions.
I'll try.
She was still in shock. I mean, she had just talked to her daughter, and now she's found dead in her apartment.
You spoke to Keneata this morning?
Yeah, it was around 7.
She had talked to Keneata about picking up the 7-month-old baby so that Keneata could go to work that day.
Patricia was already keeping Keneata's 5-year-old daughter, whom she left at home that morning with her adult son while she went to get the baby.
She was going to go over and she was going to give Keneata a ride to work, come back, watch the kids.
Based on when Patricia last spoke to Keneata and when she arrived, detectives come to a terrifying conclusion.
We believe that Patricia Folsom had arrived at the apartment while the suspect was still inside.
Do you have any idea who may have been inside the apartment with Keneata this morning?
Gerard was supposed to be at work.
Gerard, Keneata's boyfriend, was already at work.
He worked in the kitchen, like breakfast stuff, because he used to go early in the morning, like before 5.
She didn't say anything about Antonio coming by.
Antonio?
Yeah, Keneata's ex, her daughter's father.
Patricia Folsom was able to provide information regarding the older child's father.
Patricia said she thought that they got along well, but Keneata was pretty private about her relationships. So if something was wrong, she probably wouldn't have mentioned it.
She kept me out of that. I don't know. They seemed like they were good.
Any custody issues?
Not until Gerard came in the picture.
Antonio didn't like the idea of Gerard being there around his child and potentially trying to raise his child.
To detectives, it was possible Antonio confronted Keneata and an argument ensued. It definitely seemed like a crime of passion.
Based on the amount of injuries to Keneata Nicholas's body, it appeared to us that this was some type of a rage incident.
However, just as detectives are realizing they need to talk to Antonio, Patricia raises another possibility.
That was Danielle, too. Her and Keneata didn't get along.
Whoa. Who's Danielle?
Gerard's ex.
Patricia tells detectives that Gerard has a lot of history with this woman. He fathered children with her.
According to Patricia, Keneata tried to get along with Danielle for the sake of the children, but to no avail.
She was jealous of the relationship that Keneata was having with Gerard.
She would say she was having problems with the other parent.
Were there fights between the women?
No, mainly arguing.
So nothing physical?
Not from what I know.
Everybody was kind of, a little grouchy about how they wanted to work out situations with each other. I was just like, just try to be nice. Keneata wasn't that type.
But now that Keneata had been found dead, detectives wondered if the tension between the two women had turned violent.
You need to find Gerard. Find out what he knows.
There's always a chance when someone's fighting. You're fighting with someone that you could really end up like that.
More secrets are revealed once we return with more Fatal Attraction.
Life is full of things to manage. Your work, your family, your plans, and your treatment. Consider Kesimpta, ofatumumab 20 milligram injection. You can take it yourself from the comfort of home. If you're ready for something different, ask your healthcare provider about Kesimpta and check out the details at kesimpta.com. Brought to you by Novartis Pharmaceuticals Corporation.
Welcome back to Dealing Together. First caller?
I bought 3 sweaters to get the 4th free.
Oh, you got fleeced. Next caller.
I traded my old Samsung at AT&T for a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus and chose my plan.
That's not a bad deal.
It is not.
Our best smartphone deals. Your choice of plan. Learn how to get the new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus with Galaxy AI on us with eligible trade-in. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Offers vary by device. Subject to change. S24 plus 256 gigabyte offer available for a limited time. Terms and restrictions apply. See att.com/Samsung for details.
Detectives investigating the murder of Keneata Nicholas have just learned of tensions between the 26-year-old mother of 2 and a woman named Danielle Hall.
Keneata's boyfriend, Gerard Crossley, had previously dated Danielle, and they had children together.
Keneata had been reaching out to Gerard's kids, trying to make them feel welcome in his new family.
She tried to have them come over, but the other parent had issues with that. It just wasn't working.
Is it possible Danielle had something to do with Keneata's death? When detectives bring her in for questioning, she appears shocked by the news.
When did this happen?
This morning.
When detectives pressed Danielle about what Keneata's mom told them, she admitted that her and Keneata were hardly friends.
However, Danielle swears that she had nothing to do with Keneata's murder.
Where were you at 7:30 this morning?
I was still at work.
Danielle told detectives she worked third shift and didn't get off until 8:30 a.m.
Detectives will have to confirm Danielle's alibi. But before they do, she suggests perhaps Gerard may be a victim as well.
Is Gerard okay?
We're still trying to get in touch with him.
Look, just so you know, he's been mixed up with some pretty bad people in the past.
She told us that he was pretty well known in the drug trade, both seller and consumer of narcotics.
The people he used to run with, they scared me. Maybe this has something to do with them.
After talking to Danielle, detectives pulled Gerard's rap sheet.
He had a pretty serious criminal record. He had been arrested for some drug offenses.
Police started to wonder, was this crime the result of money that Gerard owed to somebody else that he hadn't paid that now fell on Keneata?
So it was imperative that we found him not only to interview him about what he knew, but to make sure that he's not injured or a victim himself.
Detectives contact the hotel where he works and make an alarming discovery.
He didn't show up to work that morning.
Next, detectives make several calls to Gerard's cell phone, but they all go unanswered.
They started to wonder if Gerard was actually murdered somewhere as a result of this, or he's on the run from whoever may be hunting him.
Though detectives are unable to reach Gerard, they are able to find Keneata's ex, Antonio Chambly.
He was obviously somebody we wanted to talk to and find out what he knew about the crime.
Once contacted by detectives, Antonio makes the 45-minute drive from Hartford to West Haven.
I want to thank you for coming in here to speak with us today.
Sure. I still can't believe this.
He seemed pretty shaken up about it.
He was looking for information about what happened and was just concerned for the welfare of his own child.
I don't know what I'm gonna tell her.
Your daughter?
Yeah.
You and Keneata shared custody, right?
Well, not officially. We never went to court or anything.
When they split, they had split custody of her. So he would have her half of the time and she would have her half of the time. Well, it wasn't like a court order or something like that.
So you got along?
Yeah. Probably better than when we were together.
They always remained friends and was very cordial and co-parenting together.
And her being with Gerard, that didn't bother you?
No, she's free to see who she wants.
Okay.
Antonio tells detectives he had no real issues with Gerard either. He was just initially cautious of another man helping to raise his child.
You know, he never liked him for his daughter.
So what was the problem?
It was kind of weird, having my daughter around some strange man. But Keneata, she told me to stay in my own lane. So I did.
So he was accepting to it.
Based on his genuine concern for both his child and Keneata, detectives believe Antonio is innocent.
It seemed like he had a pretty good relationship with her.
We're not enemies. We're not constantly bickering. We're not arguing. So it was kind of weird for some people to accept that we were just real good friends.
At this time, we did not believe that he was involved in any way.
I'm just in a place where it's like, wow, I just lost one of my best friends. Thank you, God. My daughter wasn't there to see it.
Detectives can't rule out the possibility that someone close to Keneata had killed her, though. And when they receive both the autopsy and blood analysis, they hope to have a new lead.
The forensic report was that Keneata Nicholas received numerous stab wounds, as well as a significant laceration to her neck and throat area.
Keneata was stabbed 30 times.
A stabbing like that, that's personal in nature.
It just screams it's a crime of passion.
However, the lab results on the blood found in Keneata's apartment don't yield the leads police were hoping for.
According to the lab results, it was only Keneata's blood on the wall.
Detectives are disappointed, But we'll soon learn that Antonio and Gerard aren't the only romantic links in Keneata's life.
We were contacted by an individual who was now in a new dating relationship with Keneata Nicholas.
It was a romantic relationship. They were romantically involved.
Detectives are shocked by the caller's claim, but even more so by their name.
The caller identified herself as Melissa Kelly.
Police find out that Keneata was in a new relationship with another woman.
Detectives were under the impression that Keneata was only currently involved with Gerard. So this information brought a new motive into the mix.
They were convinced that this relationship must have had something to do with Keneata's murder.
More secrets are revealed once we return with more Fatal Attraction.
Life is full of things to manage. Your work, your family, your plans, and your treatment. Consider Kesimta, ofatumumab 20 milligram injection. You can take it yourself from the comfort of home. If you're ready for something different, ask your healthcare provider about Kesimta and check out the details at kesimta.com. Brought to you by Novartis Pharmaceuticals Corporation.
Welcome back to Dealing Together. First caller?
I bought 3 sweaters to get the 4th free.
Oh, you got fleeced. Next caller.
I traded my old Samsung at AT&T for a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus and chose my plan.
That's not a bad deal.
It is not.
Our best smartphone deals. Your choice of plan. Learn how to get the new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus with Galaxy AI on us with eligible trade-in. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Offers vary by device, subject to change. S24 plus 256 gigabyte offer available for a limited time. Terms and restrictions apply. See att.com/Samsung for details.
Less than 24 hours into the murder investigation of Keneata Nicholas, a witness comes forward to West Haven police with surprising information.
Gerard and Keneata had broken up, and Keneata had started this new relationship with a woman by the name of Melissa.
She'd learned about what happened to Keneata and contacted the West Haven Police Department and advised that she'd had some information about what had occurred.
Detectives immediately arranged for 28-year-old Melissa Kelly to come down to the station for a statement.
So how many people knew about the two of you?
I don't know. I thought we were a secret. She was supposed to tell her mom soon.
Keneata's mother didn't tell detectives about the new girlfriend because she didn't know.
She kept it quiet from me because it was a relationship that I would not have agreed with.
How long did you know Keneata?
Well, we had been friends for a while.
It's been like over a year that they knew each other.
But they had only been dating for a few weeks now.
I just can't believe that she's gone.
She told the police she was looking forward to seeing this relationship grow and blossom.
Keneata deserved a little bit of happiness, especially after all that Gerard would do to her.
What do you mean?
He would hit her.
Keneata had indicated to her that there was a lot of domestic violence, that he had previously struck her and abused her in the past.
According to Melissa, the abuse was so severe, Keneata would call out of work.
Did she ever file a report?
No. She came to me about it, though, for advice.
She said he was on drugs and he was doing things to my cousin, putting his hands on her.
Melissa tells detectives that with her encouragement, Keneata had broken things off with Gerard.
She said, enough is enough. I don't want to be with you no more. I'm not happy. This is not working. This is not good for my kid.
According to Melissa, her relationship with Keneata began to gain momentum after the split with Gerard.
They started hanging out more because that's who Keneata felt safe with, and she trusted this person.
Thank you.
For what?
Being here for me.
It was a new chapter. She was trying to find happiness.
However, according to Melissa, even as their romance grew more heated, Gerard was still in the picture.
Keneata kept the severity of the abuse from her family. Gerard would cool off and things would be fine, so she let him stay at the house to be close to their son.
She let him keep a key to her house and to come in to see her son whenever he wanted to.
Melissa says even though Keneata ended the romantic relationship with Gerard, he was not letting go.
He was still trying. He thought that he could get back with her.
Did he know about you and Keneata?
Yeah, she told him.
According to Melissa, when Keneata finally told Gerard the truth about their relationship, he didn't take it well.
It wasn't like Keneata was leaving him for another man. She was leaving him for another woman. So pride becomes a factor, ego becomes a factor, and just a general challenge to his manhood.
According to Melissa, Gerard was a powder keg waiting to explode, and all he needed was the right spark.
When was the last time you saw Keneata?
She was at my apartment last night.
Where was the baby?
She brought him with her. She didn't trust Gerard alone with the baby.
Melissa claims Keneata returned home around 11 p.m. and called her shortly after.
When Keneata got home, they spoke on the phone, and Keneata told her that Gerard was upset that she was out late.
You need to hang up that phone!
Gerard was not happy with her and Keneata's relationship. He was upset that they were spending time together.
Hang up that phone right now!
Melissa tells police that during their conversation, she could hear Gerard in the background.
He was like yelling and screaming.
So why didn't you call the police?
She said she had it under control, but I know that Gerard did this to her. I know that he did this.
She wanted to make sure that if it was Mr. Crosley, that he was apprehended quickly.
However, there is one aspect to Melissa's story detectives find troubling.
Melissa's story is the first they've heard about Gerard being abusive.
I really didn't think that he would do that. He really didn't seem like he had that kind of temper. Nobody in our family knew that she was going through any of that stuff.
Detectives had to consider the possibility that Melissa was not being truthful.
Could Melissa be pointing the finger at Gerard to cover her tracks?
More secrets are revealed once we return with more Fatal Attraction.
Life is full of things to manage. Your work, your family, your plans, and your treatment. Consider Kesimta, ofatumumab 20 milligram injection. You can take it yourself from the comfort of home. If you're ready for something different, ask your healthcare provider about Kesimta and check out the details at kesimta.com. Brought to you by Novartis Pharmaceuticals Corporation.
Welcome back to Dealing Together. First caller?
I bought 3 sweaters to get the 4th free.
Oh, you got fleeced. Next caller.
I traded my old Samsung at AT&T for a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus and chose my plan.
That's not a bad deal.
It is not.
Our best smartphone deals, your choice of plan. Learn how to get the new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus with Galaxy AI on us with eligible trade-in. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Offers vary by device, subject to change. S24 plus 256 gigabyte offer available for a limited time. Terms and restrictions apply. See att.com/Samsung for details.
Keneata Nicholas's lover, Melissa Kelly, has just leveled a stunning accusation against Keneata's ex-boyfriend, Gerard Crosley.
Melissa told detectives that Gerard had been abusing Keneata.
Melissa also gives detectives new information about the night before Keneata's murder.
She was able to tell us that she and Keneata had spent the evening together the previous night. Keneata takes a cab home about 11 o'clock. She gets home and Gerard's pissed, angry that she was out with her and that there was fighting throughout the night.
Where they been all night?
However, detectives aren't sure Melissa's telling the truth.
When Keneata's mom spoke to detectives, she didn't say anything about Gerard being abusive.
He's a very quiet person. In no way do you see that he had a temper.
And you didn't go over there? Call 911? Anything?
She said that she had it under control.
She's a grown woman. She'll call me if she needs me. That was the kind of attitude she had.
It was enough to raise red flags with detectives.
They begin to wonder whether or not Melissa and Keneata could be possibly fighting about Gerard.
And it didn't bother you? Gerard still hanging around?
Like I said, I was worried.
But you weren't jealous.
Jealous of what? I was with Keneata, not Gerard.
Still unsure of Melissa's story, Detectives let her go and figure there's at least one person still out there who knows the truth. Gerard.
Knowing that he might have been either involved or a witness, we made it a priority to find out where he was.
But it's not until the afternoon of the 23rd, almost 72 hours after the murder, that detectives get their first potential lead on Gerard's whereabouts.
We were able to develop information that he had some family in New Haven, and we were able to locate Gerard Crossley's sister.
Ma'am, we're with the West Haven Homicide Unit.
Is this about Keneata?
She indicated that she had spoke to Gerard.
And when was that?
Saturday morning, a little before 8 a.m.
Gerard had contacted her requesting to borrow some money. She also indicated that he didn't seem like himself. He seemed a little off, was what she told us.
Hey, sis, what's up?
You okay?
What? Yeah.
And how's that baby doing?
Baby? Oh, yeah, the baby. Yeah, he's fine.
You sure you're all right?
Gerard told her that him and Keneata had an argument, had a fight.
Stuff and
She kick you out?
I just can't go back.
According to his sister, she didn't learn that Keneata had been murdered until later that afternoon.
She sees on somebody's Facebook page that she was dead.
And you didn't have any idea before that?
Well, I knew he was acting strange, but I never suspected anything like that.
When we talked to Gerard's sister, I kind of got the feeling that she was loyal to her brother, and she was kind of torn.
In light of this new information, Gerard is now at the top of the suspect list.
He's not injured. He's not a victim in this situation. And the gears kind of switched to he becomes a person of interest at this point.
Where can we find him?
Maybe my cousin's. He stays there sometimes.
Detectives reach out to Gerard's cousin and receive some unexpected news.
We spoke to the cousin who told us that Gerard was at their apartment. He's ready to turn himself in.
Detectives immediately descend on the apartment and apprehend Gerard Crossley.
Get on the ground!
Gerard didn't resist and surrendered to the detectives.
Gerard Crossley, you're under arrest for the murder of Keneata Nicholas.
He goes quietly and he indicates to us that he's willing to talk about what had happened.
And then what happened is it takes another shocking twist. And this one is one that police can't even believe.
More secrets are revealed once we return with more Fatal Attraction.
On February 23rd, 2016, detectives in West Haven, Connecticut have just arrested 37-year-old Gerard Crossley for the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Keneata Nicholas.
There's a sense of relief. There's a sense that Keneata's going to get a little bit of justice here. We know we have our man.
Keneata's new girlfriend told detectives that she overheard Keneata and Gerard arguing the night before the murder. And Gerard's sister admitted that he sounded very strange over the phone shortly after the murder occurred.
However, back at the station where Gerard is questioned by detectives, he swears they have made a horrible mistake.
Look, I don't know what happened to Keneata. You killed her, Gerard. No, man, you got it all wrong.
We interviewed him for 6 hours, and it was the same thing over and over again. I didn't do it. We know you did it. I wasn't there. We know you were there.
Eventually, after several grueling hours, detectives succeed in wearing Gerard down.
We were running on fumes at this time.
All right. I was there, but I don't know what happened.
Gerard claims that on the night of February 19th, when Keneata returned home late, he was high on drugs and angry.
He was supposed to be on drugs. He was like on PCP.
He admits to having a verbal argument with her, and he was upset that she was out, upset that she was dating a woman.
I don't like you messing with that female. You know that. Just go to bed, Gerard. I'm not doing this like that. I'm not doing it.
So you spent the night?
Yeah.
But Gerard says that when he woke up in the morning, the argument picked up where it left off.
He admits to physically assaulting her, that he had thrown Keneata across the room and struck her numerous times.
So when did you get the knife?
I don't know.
He indicated to us that he had blacked out.
Gerard claimed he was still high from the night before.
Could he have blacked out? Possibly. But I just don't believe he wanted to admit to himself what he did.
Most people don't want to admit to anything that they've done bad. Never mind something as heinous as killing the mother of your child.
Oh, man. Remember these pictures?
To refresh his memory, detectives confront Gerard with the autopsy results.
She was stabbed 30 times, Gerard. Come on.
We're trying to get him to just come around and tell us to take responsibility for it, and he just won't. But his details were very clear leading up to it and very clear afterwards.
Slowly, Gerard begins to confess to the murder of Keneata Nicholas.
He told us that he, Keneata, and the 7-month-old child were the only people that were in the apartment at this time.
Gerard says it all stemmed from Keneata being unwilling to reconcile their breakup.
He didn't want to break up. He didn't want to be away from her. So that was a problem.
The argument started again, and then it just got out of hand.
He obtained a knife from the kitchen. He used that knife to stab her and slit her throat.
If he couldn't have her, then nobody would.
Then he admitted to cleaning himself up and leaving.
When Gerard finishes making his statement, detectives book him on first-degree murder and then inform Keneata's family that her killer is in custody.
A hard job. It was very hard to think about.
Like, wow, is this reality? I was hurt. I just can't believe that he actually took her life.
How you do that in front of your kid? To his mom?
Gerard's arrest is made even more shocking by the revelation that he'd been abusing Keneata all along.
None of us in our family knew that she was going through this. I just didn't see it.
If I knew the seriousness of it, I would have done something to try to help.
As the case moves toward trial, all Keneata's family can do is pray for justice.
You should never see the day of light again. You should be punished.
But in the end, Gerard never goes to trial.
Gerard's attorneys approached prosecutors looking to cut a plea deal.
If he had chosen to go to trial, the minimum he would have been looking at is 60 years for murder. But at that point, it became, you want to roll the dice, or would you rather plead to something less?
In March of 2017, Gerard pleads guilty to murder. In exchange for his plea, Gerard is sentenced to 35 years in prison.
He'll be 72 years old by the time he gets out.
It's extremely satisfying to know that not only does Keneata Nicholas's family get some justice, Gerard will not be able to hurt anybody else.
Will that ever be enough to make up for what Gerard took from those who loved Keneata?
I wish she had given more. I wanted to have life.
I just wish that she was here with me.
I miss her, man. I miss her.
She will be missed forever.
In their grief, Keneata's family also hopes her story could save someone else from suffering the same fate.
My baby didn't think he would go that far, but it did. That first shove, that's time to break it off. Go find family, go find friends, get away from that person. It's not worth your family losing you. It's not worth you losing your life.
Abuse is never okay. If you or someone you love is in an abusive relationship, there is help available. Call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE.
If he couldn't have her, then nobody would. jealousy, and deceit led to the senseless murder of Keneata Nicholas, leaving a loving family in anguish, resulting in the ultimate betrayal. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
He was a rapper on the rise.
He was in demand, and we were everywhere.
Hey, we on the way to the next destination. Y'all get ready.
His talent was undeniable.
He was really on his way.
She was his #1 fan.
She really did support his dreams and his goals.
She was his muse.
But then, the music stopped.
Appearances can be deceiving, and things aren't always what they seem when it comes to love and deception. Join us as we explore the story of up-and-coming rapper Raheem Grant. What happens when love becomes fatal? Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction podcast. We will see you in the next episode.